So in this video, I will show you what to do when the guy is already close to passing your guard, how to counter him, then what to do when he passes your guard and ends up in side control, then what to do if he ends up on your mount, and then what to do if he ends up on your back control. Let's say the person is passing me. And at a certain point I already know that he will pass my guard. When he passes my guard, the main idea I want to do is to always keep myself sideways and keep my left elbow, so the top elbow, inside, okay, near my ribs. Now it's much harder for the guy to go for the underhook. It's much harder for the guy to secure the position, okay? Then the top arm will allow me to go for the underhook. If I get the underhook in this position, I can always use my arm and my leg to push the guy away, above myself. When the guy becomes above myself, I can always high step and then counter the position, okay? So I go with my left leg down to swing myself up. My left arm will go on his leg, my right arm will go on my elbow, okay? So I go into this position and I go into S mount. Otherwise, my butt will be very heavy and I will not be able to go forward, okay? From this position, I'm always using my left arm for his closer leg, my right leg for his further leg, okay? And not all the way around. And at the same time, let's say if the other leg is so far away, I will always just high step, go forward, step behind him, and then grab his leg a little bit later into technique. I let the guy pass, boom. I block my left arm near my hips. My right arm is always near my head, so he will not cross face me. And then I'm searching for this underhook. This underhook allows me to lift him up a bit higher and then go for the heist, okay? So I'm using my top leg and my underhook. So I go like this, boom. And now from this point, I go for his leg, my elbow, and I go into this position. Now, Bernardes always wants to take the overhook, so I would not take the back, okay? Otherwise, if Bernardes stays with his arm forward, I can just go behind his back and take the back, right? So he always, as an intuitive move, should make that overhook. Now, why I don't grip the hips? Because if I grip the hips and I go on my knees or something, he can do very similar move as Uchimata. So he can just pressure me with his shoulder. Yes, it's quite difficult. I feel like my shoulders are not flexible, especially, so I feel that very, very bad, okay? So from here, if Bernardes does the same thing, even if I high step, I basically don't feel anything, okay? I can easily lift his leg and go forward, okay? So now the main thing is always to run behind him, okay? So I just run here and I go for the sweep. Sometimes people will do like a very huge split with their legs on their knees. Let's say we're here. And now I'm like running and I can't lift him up. If I can't lift him up, now I need to go behind him with my legs, and now I need to block his leg with my right arm, and then I want to throw this arm forward, boom, and then we have like a turtle position, okay? So whenever I have like, for example, the underhook or the leg and he has the overhook, you can always like escape the overhook by throwing your arm in front, okay? So let's say we're here, boom, I stop, I run forward, I see that the guy is not running, I block his knee, throw my left arm, and then going for the seat belt, for example, okay? Yeah, let's say the guy is passing, boom. I put my arms inside, everything is okay. I do the same thing as we did before. I throw myself upwards, and let's say in this case, the guy has the overhook, but he's posting with his left arm as wide as open, and now when I start like running forward, I can't, okay? So in this position, what I will try to do, I will try to block his leg that I'm holding. I can block it with my foot, I can block it with my knee, it doesn't matter. Now when of course, I think like a better option would be with the knee. Then when I block him with the knee, my body turns and it's much easier for me to throw my left arm upwards, and then I can always hunt for the seat belt and his back. Okay, one more time. So let's say the guy is passing my legs. Boom, I go again for the underhook. I kick him upwards and then high step. Now he goes for the overhook, and let's say he posts his left arm as wide as open. And now when I start running, he'll be able to like stay in position and I will not be able to throw him. So in this case, what I will do, I will put my knee on the ground. So I change my legs. I put my knee on the ground behind his heel, and then I can throw this arm forward, and then I can always hang his back with the seat belt. So let's say the guy does the knee slide. I already see that I'm late. I'm always like going with my right arm on my head and my left arm near my ribs, okay? So Right arm is for the front head, for the cross face, so he would not be able to do that. I'm turning sideways, so he would not go for the underhook. And then my left arm is close to me, so I could get the underhook easier, okay? Now I kick him with my top leg, so he would go a bit higher, and then I start throwing myself upwards, and then I try to take his both legs. Now I start pushing him, but let's say he starts taking the front headlock. When he starts taking the front headlock, I want to change immediately the trajectory of where I'm going. So instead of going to his choking arm, I start changing my legs, my head, and I'm going for his arctic arm. And then I do the same thing by running around. Okay, that's it. So let's say we are in half guard. So now what I'm doing, I'm always putting one arm on the inside and I'm lifting my legs. When my legs are lifted, I try to go to the left side, imbalance the person, and go for the underhook. With the underhook, I can go to the other side. Boom, and end up in this position. So from here, I want my head to be close to his chest. My legs are lifted. I'm staying on my ground, on the ground right now. And now I want to lift myself from the momentum of my left leg. Okay, so I go up. And again, the same thing. I glue my head to his belly. One arm is for one leg, the other arm is for the other leg. And now I always go forward, okay? So I never put my legs backward and I don't move backwards at all, okay? So I always move forward. And then I start pushing and running around the guy and getting my side control. This time I will be in side control. So in side control, whenever the guy is laying on top of me, I will always lift my legs, okay? So instead of like shrimping and putting my knee inside only to recover guard, I always want to recover guard in a way where I will end up on the top, okay? So in here, I'm putting my right arm inside first, so my elbow would push him away a bit, and then I'm lifting my legs. Now at the same time, I'm like going and swinging to his head side first. I'm going, like I'm bending my body a bit, so his arm would go a bit above my head, and I would force his arm to post a bit further. When he posts a bit further, I can always go for the underhook. From the underhook, I can go back to him and then do the same techniques we did before, okay? So I go like this, boom. And from here, he will probably go for the overhook, but I can always imbalance him. So I have my top knee and my top arm, okay, to imbalance him. And then from my top leg, I can always go up and then take his legs. When I take his legs, I can drive forward and take the same position. So one more time, let's say we're in mount this time. The guy goes for the cross face, he starts lifting my arm. When the person lifts my arm, I always put my palm down, okay? It's just, I make my arm much heavier. If my palm is looking upwards, it's much easier for the guy to lift my arm all the way up, okay? So whenever I feel that the guy is lifting my arm, I'm always posting my palm downwards, okay? My other arm is always on the inside, so I will never post on his arms most of the time. I will post on his hips most of the time, okay? Now let's say it's the worst case scenario where the guy hooks my legs. So I want to always clear the hooks first, okay? Because with the hooks, I can't do the bridges. So now what I'm doing, I'm extending my both legs and I'm always like rotating them, playing with them, just so I could clear my legs and get on the inside. If I have the inside position, it's much easier to bridge and the power of the bridge will be much stronger, okay? And here, I hug the person's arm, I hug my arms together if needed, and then I'm blocking the leg on the same side. And then I'm doing the bridge. When I'm doing the bridge, my head goes on the mat, and I start looking upwards and doing a very good bridge, okay? So let's say we are in mount. Most time what happens, people will cross their legs under my butt, okay, like this. Now it will be even harder to like play with my legs. It's still possible, but it's a bit harder, okay? So in this case, he will not have the hook, so I can do bridges a bit just to get the reaction. Maybe I will not sweep him, but I will get some form of reactions, okay? Now, let's say the guy is lifting my arm. So this is like one of the worst case scenarios where the guy lifts my arm and I can't hug my arms together at any point, okay? So what I'm doing, I will still post my palm down, so I would make like my arm much heavier, and then I will do bridge to the left side just so he would post like a bit wider, and then my elbow would go inside, okay? So I'm going for the bridge, and when he posts wider, I'm putting my both arms together, and I'm putting my head and my body forward too. And now I'm lifting my legs. So instead of keeping those legs on the ground, where I'm weak, I want to lift my legs, and now I'm trying to do a keeping escape, okay? So my knees are lifting up,
my elbows are pushing down to the bottom of my knees, and then I try to like do the keeping escape. The keeping escape, you will escape with this escape mainly after like let's say 10 times of doing this motion. Okay, so it's not like 1, 2, 3. It's more like I'm doing until I escape. Okay, so I'm going like, and I try to put my bottom knee. When my bottom knee goes inside, now I can start like pushing the guy away. Okay, so you have like two options. You can push the guy away
and then go for the single legs, and then do like what we did previous weeks. Or let's say sometimes I can just like turn into the other side and then get the other hook, and then for example sit up and then start attacking the guy from here. Okay, one more time. So let's say we have like one arm inside, he's lifting my one arm, he's crossing his legs. Now I can't play with my legs here, my palm is down. Okay, so what I'm doing bridge to the left side first, just to clear out my arm. So I'm doing a bridge and clearing out my arm,
putting my head together inside, and my arm is supposed to the
opponent's hips. My elbow is always on the inside because this elbow is pushing the most on his leg. Okay, so and I'm doing the keeping escape. So now the keeping motion itself, my heels are going to my butt basically, and then the heels going upwards, and that's it. My knees are basically always pushing towards my chest. So I'm going with this motion. So now I did like maybe 12 times, and I got an escape, and then I go for the single legs. Or I can always transition to the other side, put both hooks, sit up, start playing from here. Okay? Okay, so we are in back control this time. So when we are in the back control, I always need to see and understand which arm is the choking arm. Okay, so this arm is the choking arm, so I'll put my both arms in this arm, and I will be as tight as possible. Okay, so my both arms goes on the same arm, and I'm holding this arm like basically like a baseball bat. Okay, so one arm is pushing, one arm is pulling. And now you can always lay on both sides, doesn't really matter. I feel that it's much easier to escape from the side if I'm going on the choking arm. Okay, so if I go on the same arm that I'm holding, it'll be much easier to rotate and defend. Okay, so from this position, if I end up here, one of the main things I'm doing is always I'm rotating my body. So I'm moving my legs, right? So I'm moving my legs and I'm turning. When I'm turning, now it's pretty much hard to for the top guy to submit me because the angle is much different. Okay, so it will be basically two things that the guy will do. Sorry, one thing that the guy will do, probably he will stay here and do nothing and I will escape, or he will just go for the mount and then I will escape from there. Okay, so if the guy goes for the mount, just turn with the guy, always turn sideways. It is much easier to escape the mount if you understand what is coming after the back control. Okay, if the guy doesn't do anything, then I will do my move and I continue with it. Okay, so I go here, I rotate. So one option was the mount control. The second option is my move. So what I'm doing, most time I will just throw this arm over my head and I will start rotating my body. So my elbows, everything goes on the mat, and now I start lifting my legs. Now I start rotating them, so I could end up in the close guard and continue with my position. Okay, so let's try again. So let's say we're in the back control. First things first, I control the same arm that the choking arm. Now I go on the same side, and we have two options. One option, okay, and I turn. And one option is when he goes to the mount, right? So when the guy goes to the mount, I don't change anything. I just put my elbows inside. And when he goes for the mount, I turn sideways with him. When I turn sideways with him, it's much easier to go again for the keeping escape. Or sometimes it's just easy to shrimp out and then put the knee inside, okay? Because I'm continuing with the flow that he's giving me. Or the second option would be, let's say we go again to the back control. I take his choking arm, I go on the choking arm, I turn my back to the mat, and let's say if the guy doesn't do anything, I just throw this arm over my head, I put my left elbow on the ground, and I will lift my legs and I cross them so I could get up easier. Okay, so I lift, I cross, and then I get up easier. Okay, and one more detail. Let's say if I go to the right side and the guy crosses his legs behind, like this, it's much harder for me to turn. So what I'm doing, I need to kick his legs and then when I kick, then I turn. And when I turn, I can do the same thing. I can put his arm over my head, or I can put my left arm above, and then I can turn. So I lift my legs always, and then I'm turning, and I'm getting the close guard. Okay? Okay, so now, this time, let's say we go on the opposite side. Okay, so in this position, it's much harder to turn, especially if the guy puts his head near my shoulder. It's basically impossible to put my head on the mat. Okay, so I'm always keeping his arm here, and now what I try to do, I just try to like do a bridge, and then I try to go to the other side. If I can go to the other side, I'm doing the same thing. I rotate my body, I throw my arm, I can go on top, and escape the position. Now, whenever someone feels that I do the bridge, they will try to hook my leg. So when I go for the bridge, on the other side, he will throw his leg out, and he will try to use the hook to get me back. So if I don't do anything, he just throws me back, maybe cross his legs behind, and now I'm stuck again. Okay, so I do the bridge when I see that he's hooking and he's throwing me. I instantly use that momentum to get on top. Okay, and when I get on top, I just rotate towards the guy and I get the half guard. Okay, one time. So let's say we're here. We go on the armpit arm. I do the bridge. He starts hooking me. When he hooks me, I start throwing this right leg over and rotating as fast as possible. When I rotate, I get on my knees, and now I try to get my head as fast as possible, okay? Because the guy will probably go up, so I put my left arm backwards, go for the underhook, and we secure the position. Okay, so let's say I go on this side again. I do a bridge again. He hooks my leg again, and now he knows what could happen. Okay, so let's say if I turn as fast as possible, he can try to like take my armpit and then get on top of me. So let's say I go on top, and then Bernardo always takes the armpit and gets up. When the guy gets up, if I stay on my knees, it's very easy for the guy to hook me. Okay, so he gets the hooks, and now he can go for the chokes, he can go for the half Nelson, and then he can always take me down. Okay, so in this moment, before the hook, when he grabs my armpit, I always want to lift my leg. And now when he tries to hook my leg, it's basically impossible. Okay, and now what I can do, I can start like getting up and hook his leg. When I hook his leg, I go back again, I kick everything, and then I can start turning into the guy and escaping the position. Okay, one more time. So let's see. We go here, I do a bridge, he hooks my leg, and now he is prepared for my momentum, right? So I go up, and he grabs my armpit, I instantly go on my foot. When I go on my foot, there will be no gaps for his leg to go inside. If I'm on my knees, there is always a gap for his leg to go inside. Okay? And now from here, when I go here, I always put my head down and I always hook his leg. And now I just drop on that leg side. When I go here, I go with my knee inside, and then I can start rotating. Sometimes I can even grab the head and then go up, start countering the guy. Okay? One more time. So in the back, I go to the left side, I do the bridge, the guy hooks me, go up, and then I always lift my right leg. When I lift my right leg, all the gaps are closed, okay? Now I hook his leg, I drop down, and then with this hook, I can clear out his leg and put my left leg through the inside. When my leg goes through the inside, I always extend my body and always try to take his head, go up, and start counter-attacking. Okay? Let's say we go on this side. Very common position. When we go here, the guy locks the body triangle. Okay, so from here, what I want to do, I want to turn a bit more on my belly, like this, and then I want to throw this leg behind as much as possible, okay? And then when I throw behind, I want to hook his leg with my knee. Okay, so I hook his knee, hook his ankle with my knee, and then I try to drag that foot near my right arm. When I get his foot, I try to pull his fingers, not the heel, but the fingers, as close as possible to my chest. And now I can connect with my both arms. Now, even if he tries to choke me here with his right arm, it's very hard because now I can rotate and he can't put his arms in the proper way. Now, if the person tries to get up on top of me, it's pretty difficult because this leg is just pushing me away. So when he goes up, he just pushes me away, and then I can either try to go for the single legs or just get up and escape the position. Okay, one time. So let's say we're in this position. The guy locks the triangle. Now, I try to spread my legs a bit, and now I try to like throw this right leg behind as hard as possible. When I throw it behind, I try to hook his ankle with my right leg, and then I get the fingers. When I get the fingers, I start putting my both arms on the fingers. I try to put my head on the mat, and then I try to rotate. When I'm rotating, I'm not in a hurry here, because even if the guy tries to get up, it's pretty difficult for him. I can always like slide back because of this leg, and I can always like transition to the single legs or leg locks. Okay, one more time. So we're here. We go on this side, the guy locks the triangle. So now I try to spread my legs. I'm still controlling the arm, and now I try to hook the ankle. When I hook the ankle with my knee, I try to grab the fingers, I try to rotate, and I try to get back. When I get back, most of the time people will get up, and then they can go for the ankle locks and go for the single legs. Okay, drift.
Skończenia było klepnięcie. Ależ świetnie rozegrał to Mantas Daublis. Niesamowity jest zawodnik reprezentujący Litwę, a Kuba Bońkowski, świetny grappler, zawalczy o trzecie miejsce.